Welcome, brave viewers, to a tale that has echoed through the ages. A story of courage, sacrifice, and unbreakable spirit. Today, you'll journey back nearly 2.5 millennia to a narrow mountain pass in ancient Greece, where the fate of Western civilization hung in the balance. This is the legendary Battle of Thermopylae, where Samnite Spartans, led by their resolute King Leonidas, stood against the vast Persian army of King Xerxes. As you watch this video, imagine yourself in the heart of the action. The clash of bronze and iron, the cries of warriors, the relentless march of thousands, and the unwavering line of heroes determined to protect their homeland at any cost. This story is not just about war, it's about leadership, honor, betrayal, and the choices that shape history. Through Sancer's chapters, we'll explore the world of the Spartans, the mighty Persian Empire, and the unforgettable events that unfolded at Thermopylae. Whether you're a history enthusiast or a newcomer to ancient tales, prepare to be inspired by the courage of a few who dared to face the many. Let's begin this epic journey together. In the early years of the 5th century BCE, Greece was a land divided, city-states at odds, each fiercely proud and independent. Yet on the horizon, a storm was brewing, threatening to engulf them all. From the east, across the vast deserts and mountains of Persia, came rumors of an army so great that it seemed unstoppable. King Xerxes, son of Darius, ruler of the Persian Empire, sought to avenge his father's defeat at Marathon and bring all of Greece under his dominion. In Sparta, news of the impending invasion spreads like wildfire. Warriors sharpen their blades, and mothers whisper prayers to the gods. In the shadows of Mount Taygetus, a council gathers, led by the indomitable King Leonidas. He knows that the fate of Greece hangs in the balance. Despite their differences, Sparta and its rival Athens find common ground. An alliance is forged, a rare unity born of desperation. Meanwhile, Persian envoys travel from city to city, demanding earth and water as tokens of submission. Some yield, others resist. The seeds of resistance take root, nurtured by stories of past glories and dreams of freedom. As dark clouds gather over Greece, the world watches, waiting to see if these divided city-states can unite against the might of Persia. Across the shimmering expanse of the Aegean Sea, the Persian Empire stirs with movement and purpose. In the grand city of Susa, King Xerxes commands preparations for his colossal campaign. The world's greatest empire, stretching from Egypt to India, now focuses its gaze on the small, defiant Greek states. Xerxes, draped in royal finery, listens to his advisors, some urging caution, others baying for vengeance. His father's defeat at Marathon is an insult yet unavenged, and Xerxes burns with a desire to subjugate Greece once and for all. In the bustling Persian capital, soldiers are drafted from every corner of the empire. Archers from Persia, horsemen from Bactria, fierce warriors from India and Egypt. Supply lines are established, ships built, and maps drawn. The mighty army will cross the Hellespont on bridges of boats, an audacious engineering feat to display Persian might. News of these preparations spreads rapidly, reaching Greek merchants and spies. Panic grows, some Greeks flee, others harden their resolve. In Athens and Sparta, word of Xerxes' immense host, 1,000,000 strong, some say, becomes legend, stoking both fear and determination. The shadow of Persia grows long over the land. Back in Greece, the threat becomes real and immediate. Envoys and messengers crisscross the land, bringing word of the Persian advance to every city-state. At the Spartan training grounds, young men are summoned, their faces a mix of excitement and fear. The elders invoke the gods, sacrificing at the altars for strength and wisdom. In Athens, democracy's halls are abuzz with heated debate. Should they fight or flee? Can the fractured city-states unite against such overwhelming odds? Leonidas, ever the leader, addresses his people with solemn resolve. The Persian tide is rising. We must stand firm, or our children's children will be born in chains. He issues the call to arms, summoning not only Spartans but allies across Greece. Some answer, Thespians, Thebans, Corinthians. Others hesitate, wary of the Persian might. The call resounds through villages and cities alike. Farmers leave their fields, craftsmen put aside their tools, and boys become men overnight. Families embrace, uncertain if they will meet again. The drums of war beat louder, summoning the bravest to a destiny that will echo for ages. To understand the valor of the Sambi, one must know Sparta itself. From childhood, Spartan boys are shaped by the agoge, a brutal education in discipline, endurance, and war. At 7, children leave their families to live in barracks, forging bonds that will last a lifetime. Each day is a test: wrestling, running, weapons practice, and lessons in obedience. Weakness is not tolerated. Only the strongest survive. The Spartans believe in simplicity and sacrifice. Meals are plain, words are few, and every action serves the state. Girls, too, train in sport and song, raised to be strong mothers of warriors. Elders pass down legends of heroes: Heracles, Achilles, and the glory of dying for one's city. 40. Leonidas walks among the young men, remembering his own youth in the agoge. He sees their steely resolve and knows they are ready. At night, the warriors share tales around the fire, each eager to prove himself in battle. As the moon rises over Sparta, their hearts are set, not on victory, but on honor and duty. Leonidas, the chosen king, is the heart of Sparta's defense. Unlike other monarchs, he rules with humility, living as a warrior among his men. His lineage traces back to Heracles, and his courage is matched only by his wisdom. As Persia draws near, Leonidas carries the weight of his people's fate on his shoulders. He consults with his queen, Gorgo, wise and outspoken, who urges him to trust in both Sparta's strength and Greek unity. In the halls of power, Leonidas listens to his generals, weighing their counsel. He refuses to send his men to certain death, but knows the value of sacrifice for the greater good. As the army assembles, Leonidas handpicks the Sembigue, a band of the bravest, each with living sons, so Sparta's bloodline will endure. He looks each warrior in the eye, seeing not just soldiers but brothers. His decision is made, not for glory, but for duty and honor. Word spreads quickly, and soon the call to arms echoes across Greece. In Corinth, Thebes, Thespiae, and beyond, leaders debate whether to stand with Sparta. Old feuds are set aside as the danger grows. Delegates travel to Sparta, pledging support, or at least neutrality, in the coming fight. In the bustling agora, rival city-states lay down their rivalries, forging a shaky but vital alliance. Some, like the Thespians and Thebans, send warriors to join the Spartans. Others promise aid or supplies. The mood is tense but determined. Leonidas welcomes each contingent, assigning places in the formation and explaining the plan. He knows every ally is essential. Despite their differences, Athenian democracy, Spartan discipline, Theban pride, they unite for survival. The unity is imperfect, but a powerful sign to Xerxes. Greece will not fall easily. Before marching to war, custom demands counsel from the gods. Leonidas leads a solemn procession to Delphi, home of the oracle, Apollo's priestess, famed for cryptic wisdom. The air is thick with incense as the Pythia, shrouded in white, enters her trance. Her words, spoken in riddles, chill the Spartan king. The oracle warns, either Sparta shall mourn the loss of a king, or all of Greece will fall to the Persian yoke. The message is heavy, its meaning clear. Leonidas must choose between his own life and the fate of his people. The priests interpret the vision, urging caution. Some hope the prophecy can be avoided, but Leonidas sees his path set by fate. Returning to Sparta, Leonidas keeps the oracle's words close to his heart, revealing the prophecy only to a trusted few. The burden is his alone, yet the prophecy steels his resolve. His sacrifice may be necessary for the salvation of Greece. With alliances forged and resolves steeled by prophecy, the time comes for the Greek forces to move. Early in the morning, the streets of Sparta fill with the sounds of armored men and clattering shields. Leonidas leads the way, his Semite-chosen warriors, marching in disciplined formation, followed by contingents from Thespiae, Thebes, and other allies. As the army leaves the city, families line the road. Some weep, others sing songs of valor. Queen Gorgo stands tall, her eyes meeting Leonidas's for one final, silent farewell. The warriors carry little, trusting in discipline and the favor of the gods. Each man knows he may not return, but none falter. The journey is arduous, winding through hills and valleys, past temples and olive groves. Along the route, more allies join, each arrival a reminder that Greece stands together, if only for a moment. Scouts report Persian advances, tension rises. At every village, the people cheer or pray, offering water and bread to the passing soldiers. Finally, after days of relentless marching, the allied Greek force reaches the narrow pass at Thermopylae. Here, the mountains squeeze the road to the sea, creating a bottleneck, an ideal place for a few to hold off many. Leonidas surveys the terrain, nodding grimly. This will be the battlefield. Thermopylae is not just a battlefield. It is a natural fortress. The pass, known as the Hot Gates, is flanked by steep mountains on one side and the sea on the other. At its narrowest, only a few men can stand shoulder to shoulder. Sulphurous springs steam in the cool air, giving the place an otherworldly feel. Leonidas gathers his officers, explaining the tactical advantage. Here, the Persian numbers count for little. The Greeks will form a phalanx, a wall of overlapping shields and spears, holding back the invaders. They fortify the old wall that marks the entrance, repairing stones and digging shallow ditches. Scouts climb the slopes, watching for Persian movements. Greek engineers set traps and sharpen stakes. As evening falls, fires burn along the pass. The men rest under the stars, their nerves taut with anticipation. Every advantage must be seized. Every stone, every bush becomes a tool of defense. In the darkness, the quiet is broken only by whispered prayers and the distant crash of waves. The Spartans sleep well, trusting in their training and their king. Tomorrow, they will face the greatest army the world has ever seen. But tonight, the Hot Gates belong to Greece. As dawn breaks over Thermopylae, the earth trembles with the approach of the Persian army. The scale is overwhelming. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers marching in disciplined columns, their banners fluttering in the wind. Xerxes rides at the center, surrounded by the elite immortals, and a sea of colorful exmorphlosts. Persian scouts spot the Greek defenders, reporting back that the way is blocked. Xerxes, at first, cannot believe that so few stand against his might. He sends envoys to demand surrender, offering mercy in exchange for earth and water. Leonidas replies with the now legendary words, "Come and take them." The Persian camp spreads across the plain like a living city. Tents, kitchens, smithies, and supply lines buzz with activity. Drummers beat out the rhythm of war, and priests sacrifice to the gods for victory. Persian commanders review maps, planning to sweep aside the Greek resistance. Back at the pass, the Greeks watch the enemy gather. Many have never seen such numbers. Some are afraid, but the Spartans stand firm, steel in their eyes, with the Persian horde at their doorstep. Leonidas summons a council of war. In a small tent, leaders from Sparta, Thespiae, Thebes, and other allies gather around a simple table. Tension crackles in the air. Some worry about being outnumbered. Others question if holding the pass is wise. Leonidas listens to all concerns, his calm presence steadying the room. "Our purpose is not just to win, but to buy time," he declares. By holding Thermopylae, the Greeks hope to delay the Persians long enough for the rest of Greece to prepare for defense. Debate grows heated as some argue for retreat, fearing annihilation. Leonidas insists that retreat would doom all Greece. He reminds them that courage is contagious, and their stand will rally the Greek world. In the end, all agree to hold the pass, united by a common cause. The council ends with a solemn oath. Each leader pledges to fight to the last, not for themselves, but for the future of Greece. Outside, the men prepare for what may be their final dawn. Leonidas's resolve is clear: we hold this ground. Whatever comes, as the sun rises, the Persian army advances toward the hot gates. Their archers unleash a hail of arrows, darkening the sky. The Greeks, shields locked, crouch behind their bronze wall, letting the shafts clatter harmlessly against their armor. Xerxes, expecting an easy victory, sends his Median and Sicyan infantry to break the Greek line. But the Spartans and their allies are ready. Shoulder to shoulder in a tight phalanx, they meet the charge with unyielding discipline. Spears thrust in perfect rhythm, shields absorb the blows. Persian soldiers, unaccustomed to such resistance, falter and fall. Wave after wave, the Persians attack, but the Greeks hold firm. The narrowness of the pass means only a few can fight at a time. Here, numbers count for little. The battle is fierce, the ground slick with dust and sweat, but the line does not break. As night falls, the Persians retreat, bloodied and exhausted. The Greeks cheer quietly, knowing the real test lies ahead. Leonidas praises his men, urging them to rest and prepare for the next day's onslaught. The phalanx is the Greek secret weapon, a living wall of bronze, iron, and determination. Each man covers his neighbor, shield to shield, spear over shoulder. Training and trust are everything. Even the bravest cannot stand alone. On the second day, Xerxes sends in new troops, Egyptians, Babylonians, and more, but the phalanx holds. Spartans at the front rotate with fresh allies, keeping the line strong. Behind the wall, men pass water and encouragement, bolstering each other's spirits. The Persians grow desperate, their casualties mounting. Some try to flank the Greeks by climbing the cliffs, but are repelled by hidden defenders. Morale in the Greek ranks is high, every successful defense a testament to their unity. By day's end, the sun sets on mountains of the fallen. The Greeks, battered but unbroken, tend to their wounded and strengthen their fortifications. Leonidas thanks every man, his leadership inspiring hope that, even against impossible odds, victory, or at least honor, is possible. Frustrated by defeat after defeat, Xerxes unleashes his elite guard, the Immortals. Clad in ornate armor, they march forward with deadly discipline, believed by the Persians to be unbeatable. Their arrival is met with unease among the Greeks, but Leonidas urges calm. They are men, not gods. The Immortals press the attack, their numbers pressing hard against the Greek phalanx. The fighting is brutal, spears splintering, swords flashing in the sunlight. For a moment it seems the Greeks may finally break, but the line bends, never shatters. Thespians and Thebans fight shoulder to shoulder with Spartans, their unity tested in fire. The immortals suffer heavy losses, their reputation tarnished on Greek soil. Xerxes watches in disbelief as even his best cannot break the defenders. As dusk falls, the Greeks hold firm. Their courage, strategy, and trust in one another have withstood the greatest the Persians have to offer. Among the dead lie warriors from both sides. But the past remains Greek for another day. Xerxes grows increasingly angry at his army's lack of progress. His advisors whisper anxiously, fearful of his wrath. The Persian camp is restless, filled with wounded men and rumors of Greek invincibility. Some soldiers begin to question the campaign, while officers fear the king's displeasure more than the enemy. In the Greek camp, spirits are cautiously high. They know the enemy is faltering, but supplies are low and fatigue grows. Still, the knowledge that they have humiliated the Persian elite inspires both pride and grim determination. Xerxes orders night attacks and feints, hoping to catch the Greeks off guard, but the defenders remain vigilant. Scouts report all is well, and the phalanx stands ready in the moonlight. In rare moments of calm, Greeks share stories and songs, honoring their gods and fallen comrades. The stalemate cannot last forever, but each passing hour is a victory for Greece. Leonidas watches the Persian fires flicker in the distance, sensing that the enemy's frustration could be as dangerous as their strength. While the battle rages at Thermopylae, another conflict unfolds at sea. The Greek fleet, led by Athenian Admiral Themistocles, waits at Artemisium, blocking the Persian navy. Triremes, sleek, fast warships, crowd the waters, rowers tense and ready. Communication is constant between the land and sea, for victory at one depends on success at the other. Themistocles, cunning and persuasive, urges the allied fleet to hold its position. Some want to retreat in the face of the massive Persian navy, but Themistocles insists they must fight to prevent a Persian landing behind Greek lines. Naval skirmishes erupt, both sides losing ships. The Greeks employ hit-and-run tactics, exploiting their agility in the narrow straits. Persian losses mount, but so do Greek. Neither side gains a clear advantage. As news of Spartan valor spreads, the sailors' resolve strengthens. The fate of Greece depends on unity, on land and sea alike. Themistocles sends messages of encouragement to Leonidas, forging a bond between army and navy that will outlast the battle itself. Seeing that brute force cannot break the Greeks, Xerxes turns to cunning. Persian scouts and spies scour the mountains, searching for hidden paths. In council, Xerxes listens as local guides and mercenaries offer alternatives to frontal assault. Among them is Ephialtes, a Greek traitor desperate for reward, who reveals a secret goat path that leads behind Greek lines. Xerxes is both furious and delighted. He assembles the immortals and trusted officers, giving them orders to march by night and outflank the defenders. The plan is risky, but Xerxes is determined. The time for patience is over. In the Greek camp, scouts report unusual movement in the Persian lines. Leonidas senses danger, doubling the watch and preparing for surprise attacks. The mood grows tense, the defenders realizing that the enemy's resolve is hardening. As darkness falls, the stage is set for a fateful betrayal, one that will test the Greeks' courage and unity to their limits. Night settles heavily over Thermopylae, but within the Persian camp, a moment that will alter history unfolds. Ephialtes, a Greek outcast with bitter eyes, kneels before Xerxes, desperate for gold and favor. For secret mountain path, known only to locals, that winds around the cliffs and emerges behind the Greek position. Xerxes listens intently, skeptical but intrigued. Guides are gathered. Scouts confirm the path is real. The king's plan takes shape. He will send his elite immortals to traverse the trail under cover of darkness, outflanking the Greek. As Ephialtes is rewarded with promises and gold, his heart is filled with twisted triumph, unaware that his name will become synonymous with treachery. Meanwhile, the immortals move silently, led by Persian officers and local guides, vanishing into the night. Back at the Greek camp, all is still. The men sleep, unaware of the dagger pointed at their backs. Only the keenest sentries sense a disturbance in the darkness, and messengers race to warn Leonidas of the unfolding danger. As the immortals creep along the goat path, silence reigns except for the crunch of gravel underfoot. Greek sentries positioned along the trail spot the movement and, realizing the enormity of the threat, light signal fires and dispatch runners to alert Leonidas. At the summit, a small contingent of Phocian Greeks, assigned to guard the secret, path, are startled awake by the sound of approaching Persians. Though brave, they are caught off guard and overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Some are cut down, others flee, their warning cries echoing through the mountains. Leonidas receives the message at dawn. The realization dawns grimly. The Greek position is about to be surrounded. The king quickly calls a council, explaining that the Persians will soon attack from front and rear. The allies must decide: fight to the end or retreat and regroup. The men weigh their choices with heavy hearts. For some, honor and duty demand they stand with Sparta. Others, especially from non-Spartan contingents, prepare to withdraw. The air is thick with tension as the Greeks steel themselves for the final act of the drama. As news spreads that the Persians have outflanked the position, panic and uncertainty ripple through the allied camp. Some Greek contingents, faced with annihilation, argue for retreat, hoping to live and fight another day. The Thessalians and others quietly withdraw under cover of darkness, their absence leaving gaps in the defense. Leonidas understands their fear but refuses to abandon the pass. He summons the remaining Spartans, Thespians, and a handful of Thebans, men who choose to stay, knowing full well the likely outcome. They form a core of unwavering courage. Leonidas addresses his loyal followers, praising their resolve and reminding them that their sacrifice will inspire all of Greece. The men embrace one another, sharing words of comfort and courage. Some write final letters home, others pray or sharpen their blades in silence. As dawn approaches, the defenders brace for the coming storm. Though their numbers are greatly reduced, their spirits are unbroken. They prepare to etch their deeds in the annals of history. With the past compromised and hope of survival fading, Leonidas leads his remaining warriors to the narrowest point at Thermopylae. The Persians, sensing imminent victory, launch a renewed assault at dawn, drums and trumpets echoing through the mountains. The Greeks form a tighter phalanx, shields battered but spirits indomitable. The Spartans fight at the front, each man determined to sell his life dearly. Thespians and Thebans fight at their side, a testament to the brotherhood forged in battle. Wave after wave of Persians crash against the defenders. Spears break, swords are drawn, and hand-to-hand combat becomes a brutal reality. The ground is soon slick with blood and dust. The Greeks fight with a fury born of desperation, every blow a message to their homeland. Greece resists. Leonidas leads from the front, a living symbol of courage. The Persians are stunned by the defenders' valor, suffering heavy casualties despite their numbers. The narrowness of the pass once again proves the Greeks' greatest ally. turning the battle into a deadly bottleneck. In the thick of the fighting, Leonidas moves among his men, offering words of courage and gratitude. Though wounded, he stands tall, blood and sweat mingling on his brow. His presence inspires those around him, reminding them that their sacrifice has meaning beyond the battlefield. Knowing the end is near, Leonidas calls his officers close. He urges them to die bravely and not let fear take root. "Let our deeds speak for us when the bards sing of this day," he says. His eyes meet those of his closest friends and comrades. A silent farewell passes between them. In a brief pause, Leonidas asks a young warrior to carry word to Sparta. If he escapes, "Tell them we did not falter," he says, "and that freedom is worth any price." The men clasp hands, their bond forged in fire and loss. The Persians renew their assault, arrows filling the sky. Leonidas fights on, striking down foes with relentless energy. But a Persian spear finally finds its mark. The king falls, surrounded by his loyal guard, his sacrifice complete. His death sends a wave of rage and sorrow through the Greeks, who fight on with even greater fury. The death of Leonidas is a clarion call for his remaining men. The Spartans, bolstered by their Thespian and Theban allies, form a ring around their fallen king, determined not to let the Persians claim his body without a fight. The phalanx becomes a fortress, every shield and spear a barrier against overwhelming odds. The Persians, driven by rage and the promise of victory, attack in relentless waves. Yet the Greeks refuse to break. They fight not just for survival, but for the honor of their king and the memory of their ancestors. Each Spartan is a whirlwind of fury, cutting down foes with single-minded determination. As the circle tightens and numbers dwindle, the Greeks know their time is short. Some fight on, even after grievous wounds, crawling over their fallen brothers to rejoin the fray. Thespian warriors match the Spartans' bravery, dying at their side rather than fleeing. At last, only a handful remain. The Persians, at enormous cost, finally break through, but the legend of the Sambis is born. Their stand buys precious time for Greece and sends a message to the world. Free men will fight to the last for their homeland. The pass at Thermopylae is silent, but for the wind and the call of distant crows. The ground is littered with the bodies of Greeks and Persians alike, a testament to the ferocity of the struggle. The cost in Persian lives is staggering, and Xerxes surveys the carnage with a mix of awe and frustration. The Persian king orders the body of Leonidas found, and, in a display of power, has it mutilated and displayed. But the Greek sacrifice is not forgotten. Surviving Greek captives mourn their friends but refuse to yield in spirit. Messengers escape, carrying news of the valiant, stand back to the city-states of Greece. Across the land, word spreads. Sambite Spartans and their allies stood against an empire and did not yield. Their names and deeds become a rallying cry. Mothers and fathers weep, but pride mingles with sorrow. Thermopylae is lost, but the legend is born. The sacrifice of the defenders inspires Greece to unite as never before. With the pass cleared, Xerxes' army marches onward, but not without loss. The Persian king is troubled. His victory has come at a far higher price than expected, and rumors of Greek courage spread even among his own men. Morale suffers, and some officers worry about the future of the campaign. In Greece, the defeat at Thermopylae is met with both grief and resolve. The sacrifice of Leonidas and his warriors galvanizes the remaining city-states. In Athens, citizens vow to resist, women and children prepare to evacuate, and the navy is readied for new battles. Allied leaders meet, their resolve hardened by the example set at Thermopylae. Plans are made for future confrontations. most notably at the naval stronghold of Salamis. The fallen become martyrs, their deeds inspiring a newfound unity among the fractious Greeks. Thermopylae is not the end. It is the beginning of a greater struggle for freedom. The legend grows, and with it the hope that the mighty can be humbled by the brave. In his lavish tent, Xerxes ponders the cost of victory. Surrounded by advisors and generals, he struggles to understand how so few could inflict such damage. The mutilated body of Leonidas, displayed as a warning, does little to bolster morale. Some Persian officers quietly admire the Greeks' courage. Xerxes recalls the words of his father, Darius, about the unpredictability of war. He wonders whether the campaign will truly break Greek resistance or simply inflame it. Yet pride forbids retreat. The king orders his forces to press on, believing that numbers and persistence will ensure victory. He holds councils deep into the night, debating new strategies and punishments for perceived failures. Yet the seeds of doubt have been sown, and whispers of Greek bravery ripple through the ranks. The king feels the weight of history pressing down. As dawn breaks, Xerxes steels himself. His army moves inexorably southward, but the spirit of Thermopylae lingers, an unbroken shield against tyranny. As the Persians advance, the Greek survivors, those who retreated on Leonidas's orders, move quickly through mountain paths and villages. Some are racked with guilt, believing they abandoned their comrades. Others are determined to carry on the fight. Their retreat is not a rout, but a strategic withdrawal meant to preserve forces for future battles. They are welcomed by their countrymen with a mix of relief and sorrow. Stories are exchanged, wounds tended, and funerals held for the fallen. Many survivors vow to honor Leonidas's last stand by continuing the struggle against Persian tyranny. In Athens and other cities, leaders draw lessons from the battle, adjusting their strategies and redoubling their efforts. At Salamis, Themistocles prepares the navy for what he hopes will be a decisive confrontation. The fire of resistance, fanned by Thermopylae, refuses to die. The Battle of Thermopylae is over, but its impact reverberates across Greece and beyond. The Samnite Spartans, along with their allies, become legends in their own time. Poets, sculptors, and storytellers immortalize their deeds, ensuring their sacrifice will never be forgotten. Parents teach their children of Leonidas and the stand at the hot gates. Temples are raised and hymns sung in honor of the fallen. Even in Persia, tales of Greek valor spark admiration among some and fear among others. The unity sparked by the sacrifice leads directly to Greek victories at Salamis and, later, at Plataea. The lesson of Thermopylae is clear. Freedom, once defended so dearly, cannot easily be extinguished. The story of the Samnite grows, shaping Greek identity and the very idea of democracy and resistance. Their spirit inspires generations to come, echoing through the ages as a symbol of hope and heroism. Back in Sparta, the loss is keenly felt, but pride runs deeper still. Queen Gorgo and the families of the fallen welcome home the survivors with quiet dignity. The city is draped in black, yet songs of courage ring through the streets. Spartan children vow to follow in their father's footsteps, inspired by the example set at Thermopylae. The agoge continues, training new generations to endure hardship and uphold the Spartan code. The story of the Samnite becomes a lesson. It is not numbers or strength alone that wins freedom, but unity. Spartan society rallies around the memory of Leonidas, whose name becomes synonymous with honor. As the war continues, Sparta provides the backbone for Greek resistance, its people forever changed by the sacrifice at the hot gates. The message is clear: Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the spirit of freedom can never be conquered. Centuries pass, but the story of Thermopylae remains undimmed. Historians and philosophers write of the valor shown at the hot gates, drawing lessons for their own turbulent times. From the halls of Rome to the libraries of Alexandria, the deeds of Leonidas and his Sambiar are studied and revered. Their example becomes a touchstone for all who fight for liberty. From medieval knights to modern freedom fighters, the world remembers Thermopylae not as a defeat, but as a victory of the human spirit. A reminder that honor, sacrifice, and unity can change the course of history. The pass itself becomes a place of pilgrimage. Travelers carve the names of the fallen into the stone, and new generations stand in awe where the great battle once raged. The words inscribed on their monument ring eternal. Go, tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie. The echo of the Sambiengers, an immortal flame lighting the way for all who stand against tyranny, then and forevermore. Thank you, honored viewers, for joining us on this journey through the echoes of Thermopylae. In a narrow mountain pass, a few brave souls stood their ground against overwhelming odds, fighting not for conquest, but for freedom. Their story, one of sacrifice and indomitable spirit, reminds us all that true courage knows no boundaries of time or place. As you leave this video, carry with you the legacy of Leonidas and his warriors. Remember that every act of honor, every stand for what is right, shapes the world for generations to come. Whether you face your own battles on the field, in your community, or in your heart, let the example of the Sambi inspire you to stand tall, never yielding to fear or despair. The hot gates may be silent now, but their lesson endures. Together, we keep the flame alive, one of hope, resilience, and the unbreakable will to be free. Thank you for watching, and may the courage of Thermopylae guide you on your own heroic path.